What's up, y'all? This is your boy Eddie Jackson. Welcome back to the Drop That Podcast. Before we get into some fight talk, this episode is brought to you by Layback TV, okay? Over 10,000 channels, movies on demand, every sports channel, okay? You can get multiple HBOs, multiple languages in case you don't speak English, okay? You can download on your Apple stores for your iPhones and on your Play stores for your Androids, and keep it down on your Fire Sticks as well. Just so you know. And you can get all the information that is needed, that you need to know, on laybacktv.com. And if you have specific questions, just go to their Instagram on official_laybacktv. You slow motherfuckers. official_laybacktv. Boom. Search them on Instagram. So let's get into some fight talk because we got a lot, motherfuckers. Whoa! Holy shit. So, we got a fight announcement. It's official. Keith Thurman is moving up to super welterweight, 154-pound division. And he's going to challenge Sebastian Fedora for the WBC championship. I like this. I mean, Keith Thurman was a unified welterweight champion, held the WBC and the WBA title. But I don't know. The only thing I don't like about Keith is that there's so much time that goes in between, and he's wasted so much years. You know, I'm not even sure if he's still in his prime, but he's still a dog. You know what I'm saying? It's a tall order to beat a freaking skyscraper like Sebastian Fedora, but we'll see. But that fight's going down in a couple months. I can't wait for it. That will shake up the super welterweight division, because former undisputed 154-pound champion, speaking of 154, super welterweight, Jermell Charlo of the Charlo twins, right? He's been out. He's been out since his defeat from Canelo, where he moved up weight to go fight him. Such an embarrassing performance, but whatever. He makes a post, right? These little AI pictures, right? One's a shark. One's a set of boots. And one's a giraffe. So we know we can digest this, right? The giraffe is supposed to represent Sebastian Fedora. We can't see that fight because Fedora has Thurman to defend his WBC championship, but it could be a good target for him if he's to pull off a victory over Keith Thurman. The set of boots represent Jaron Boots Ennis, the welterweight. I think he's WBO. No, I think he's IBF welterweight champion. Boots has been chasing Terence Crawford ever since Terence Crawford moved up to 154. But now Boots Ennis is moving up to 154 as well. Apparently he has an upcoming fight. So no more 47 because there's nobody there really. He's going up to 54 where all the sharks are at. Speaking of sharks, that picture of a shark. There's only one person who really reps sharks. And that's former training partner Errol Spence. And Jermell Charlo and Spence both were trained by Derek James. Practically at the same time that they were both champions. Spence is a former WBA, WBC, and IBF welterweight champion. He lost all his titles to Terence Crawford 2 years ago. So if Jermell Charlo was looking to fight somebody, there's only one real person in this post that is actually available to him. Fedora, you forget about it. He's got Keith Thurman. He ain't gonna take that fight. He don't need to. He's scheduled to fight already. Boots Ennis has a fight scheduled. I'm not sure exactly who he's facing, but it's somebody he's getting a title shot with at 154 pounds. So Boots is not even available, and I would have loved that fight. Jermell Charlo versus Boots Ennis, that would have been perfect. So there's only really left is Spence. And to me, I love this fight. Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo. Errol Spence was in talks to take on Sebastian Fedora a year or two back, and it didn't happen. I think it was a year ago, actually. They were supposed to face last October, and it didn't happen. Errol Spence has been out of the picture for the last 2 years. He's much wasted time being on the shelf. But if Jermell Charlo returns at the same time Errol Spence is returning, and they face at 154 pounds, now that is a main fucking event. And I'm all for it if that happens. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what Jermell does. Either he's going to wait for the winner of Fedora versus Keith Thurman, which is a dope option. If he's going to wait for Boots to see if he can pop out a title, which is a dope option. Or is he going to just take on his former homie, Errol Spence? I would love to see that. That's a definitely storytelling fight. Moving on. UFC president and CEO Dana White on his private jet announces UFC 332, 3 big fights at Madison Square Garden. We got the main event. JDM defending the welterweight championship against Islam Makhachev. Woo! I mean, we knew it was kind of rumored that was going to happen, but at least we got it official. And I feel like, people say that JDM needs to win this. Actually, no, Islam Makhachev has to. Being dominant at lightweight and then moving up to welterweight, giving up your lightweight belt. I mean, you've been wanting to be at welterweight since you don't have to cut weight to 55 anymore. I feel like all the weight is on the challenger, Islam Makhachev. So that's an interesting main event. To me, I think the co-main event should have been the main event because this is the fight people want to see. And I'm talking about the flyweight championship on the line as Valentina Shevchenko taking on strawweight champion Zhang Weili. Ooh. Now that is a fucking super fight. I'm more hyped about that than the main event, to be honest. But, it might be promoted in some capacity that it's going to be a champion versus champion fight. Technically, it's not. Zhang Weili is vacating the strawweight championship. She's not going to be at 115 no more. So she's officially moving up to 125 to face Shevchenko for the title. And the strawweight championship apparently is going to be vacant and be on the line with Mackenzie Dern and I think the number 4 ranked chick who I can't pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. Look her up. You already know. Dangerous fighter though. This is you would think that this is an easy route for Mackenzie Dern. No. Mackenzie Dern tried to go for the belt and it didn't happen, but it's this is probably the next best. I mean, they need Mackenzie Dern to win this fight for the title. They need her to win. But this is going to be dope because I really don't. I feel like this is different. Shevchenko has dealt with fighters moving up from strawweight and former strawweight champions to flyweight to face her. We've had it with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Joanna champion. She went up to flyweight to face Shevchenko. Good move, but it didn't work out for Joanna. I think Jessica Andrade. Yeah, Jessica Andrade tried it. Jessica Andrade is a former strawweight champion. She's a former title challenger at bantamweight, which is a 135, and then she challenged Shevchenko at 125. So she didn't pull off the win, obviously, but this has happened before. What's beautiful about this is that we got a potential that imagine this, what if Zhang Weili defeats Shevchenko? Most likely it'll be a rematch. Shevchenko probably deserves it, I guess. But if she beats her, you know who else is at flyweight? Thug Rose, Namajunas, and Thug Rose has 2 wins over Zhang Weili. Now, I'm not going to be excited about that trilogy until I see how Zhang Wei Li operates at 125, because she is super jacked at 115. But coming to 125, yo, that's a Chinese superstar right there, and she will fucking mop the floor. She's got the strikes, no question. She's gotten better with the wrestling. Not sure how she is as far as the grappling yet, but we'll see, because Shevchenko got that grappling, so let's see. And then the next fight is announced as Leon Edwards returning, former UFC welterweight champion Leon Edwards returning to face Carlos Prates, one of the fighting nerds. Whew. They're not giving Leon Edwards a fucking break, I'm telling you. I feel like the title picture, it's smart of Leon to be on this card, because he lost the title to Belal Muhammad. JDM defeated Belal Muhammad for the title, and this title, the welterweight championship, is on the line on the same card as Leon Edwards. So you stay in the same timeline as the welterweight championship, because who knows? What if, in a perfect world, what if Makhachev wins the championship and Leon Edwards fucking super kicks Prates to another fucking dimension? You might see Makhachev versus Leon Edwards. Maybe. I mean, personally, I don't think Leon needs at least 2 more fights to be in that title picture. But you never know. People get injured, bad scheduling, stuff happens. I mean, Sean Brady defeating Leon Edwards. Sean Brady's in the picture for a title. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Belal Muhammad deserves a shot after losing the belt. It was his first title defense. Usman, no. I think we need to have Kamaru Usman and Belal Muhammad fight. I think that's the fight to make. Sean Brady, shit. To be honest, I think it should be Sean Brady versus Ian Machado Gary. Gotta be a tournament, but I guess we'll see. But speaking of Leon Edwards, shout out to his brother, Fabian Edwards, who is now the new PFL middleweight champion. And here's a kick, right? Almost around the same anniversary of Leon Edwards pretty much head kicking Usman to win the UFC welterweight title is the same anniversary, almost the same exact date of Fabian Edwards using the same head kick with the same leg to win the PFL championship. Shout out to Fabian. I've been watching Fabian climbing up the ranks at Bellator to try to get the middleweight championship, and 2 other times he fell short, but he finally got the gold, bro. Love it. I love that story. Shout out to him. He deserves it. Before we get out of here, let's give a recap of Misfits, okay? So, Misfits, which is KSI's promotion, pretty much held an event this past weekend where you had Dylan Dennis fucking fight MMA against some dude named Warren. Tony Ferguson in his boxing debut taking on Salt Boppy. And Darren Till, former welterweight title challenger of the UFC, taking on former UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold. Now here's the shit, right? I went back and forth with a friend of mine who really was not interested in this event, but I told him, right? Think about it. You know what I mean? A lot of people have these kind of promotions in a way, MVP's doing real boxing for females. That's where they really shine, with the female boxers at MVP. UFC is UFC, PFL is PFL, shit like that. BKFC is them, bare knuckle. You got Dirty Boxing, Mike Perry's promotion. They're doing them. This is Misfits direction, right? They do entertainment type shit. You know what I mean? One person who tries to do that, but it really does not work well, is His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, right? where, that event where it was Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. You had fucking performers in between, like Busta Rhymes and shit like that. And it was a little weird. It's a little weird. Is this a concert or a boxing event? We just said no. But Misfits, they put in people out of nowhere, influencers, and getting them boxing license to step in the fucking ring. A long time ago, right? There was talks of Soulja Boy fighting Chris Brown, right? If Misfits actually existed then, you would actually see that fight. Chris Brown versus Soulja Boy. Which I would have picked Chris Brown all around. Motherfucker is talented as hell. And that cardio is, I'm sorry. Soulja Boy can say what the fuck he wants, but he ain't anywhere when it comes down to Chris Brown. So to me, I was convincing him like, yo, this is interesting. I mean, look at Dylan Dennis, right? Like, everybody hates Dylan Dennis, about the whole weird shit that happened with him and Logan Paul and his wife, when they were promoting his fight. But if you think about it, right, you had Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis, KSI versus, I believe it was Tommy Fury, right? Nobody's talking about Tommy Fury versus KSI. They all want the co-main event. Regardless of the shitty way of Dylan Dennis promoting the fight, which he was the only one doing it, everybody was only interested in that. And when you watch the Tommy Fury versus KSI fight, you see why. It was a bullshit fight. At least Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul was entertaining. So I told him, like, yo, look at this year. If KSI did not pull out in the fight with Dylan Dennis, right, and GFL did not go fucking dark, and Dylan Dennis would have been able to fight Tony Ferguson. Imagine if Dylan Dennis beat KSI and Tony Ferguson within 2 months of each other in the same fucking year. They're going to be talking about him. And I feel like Dylan Dennis is the perfect personality. He's the North and Eastern New Jersey version of Conor McGregor. It's just he's jiu-jitsu. Now, I don't think Dylan Dennis personally should have been in a fucking boxing ring, because in the end of the day, everyone's right. We don't know what your striking situation is. We see little clips here and there, but it's like you're hitting mats, and we don't see you in the motherfucking ring sparring with them. And what damage are you doing? If he was doing damage, honestly, he wants to be in the UFC. The UFC have enough grapplers, they don't need another one. But here's what I told my friend. He wants to be in the UFC. UFC BJJ is perfect for him. It's perfect. You get a guy who's a grappling jiu-jitsu champion, in the UFC, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And they got championships. It's fucking insane. You can fucking do it. But he'd rather do this Misfits. But hopefully this does something for him. So probably in his next fight with Misfits, because he could do Misfits and probably do other shit too. But if he wants to solely be a UFC, I don't think UFC regular is for him. But he ended up winning in 15 seconds, so shout out to Dylan Dennis. That dude Warren, I don't understand what the fuck he was doing. He kept talking about he was going to strike with Dylan and this and that, and what did he do? The motherfucker shot for the legs. Are you a fucking idiot? Shot for the legs, and was an easy fucking connect where Dylan got full mount and a guillotine. Done. Tap. Whatever money Dylan made on this, it was the easiest money he made in a long time. But shout out to him. You know what I mean? His first win and first fight in 2 years. Shout out to Dylan. Co-main event was Tony Ferguson taking on Salt Papi. Tony Ferguson trying to break his 8-fight losing streak from the UFC. Now, I told my friend that Tony Ferguson needs to win. In the UFC, not really. Because you're dealing with elites, like Nate Diaz and Michael Chandler's and Justin Gaethje's and so forth. Salt Papi, that's going to ruin your career. Not an 8-fight losing streak in the biggest MMA promotion in the world. You losing to a fucking guy who's not only an influencer on Twitch and Kick and all that. He was a nurse, a registered nurse. You do not want to lose to a guy, especially by the name of Salt Papi. The fuck out of here. But shout out to Tony. El Cucuy is back. He defeats him. People even said some shit about the whole quick stoppage. Okay, sure. It was a quick stoppage. There's nothing wrong with a quick stoppage as long as the guy is protecting himself and trying to fight. Salt Papi not only was trying to protect himself with those flurries of fucking a combination, but he was getting tagged. He was getting tagged and he wasn't even fighting back or moving, head movement, no footwork, nothing. The referee saved the motherfucker's life. Shout out to the ref. So to those people who think the fight was stopped early, fuck you, because you don't know shit. And Darren Till in the main event taking on Luke Rockhold. Holy fucking hell. Darren Till looks amazing. Fuck the whole, the weight or whatever the fuck it is. The way those crispy combinations he was giving Luke Rockhold and fucking sent them straight to the goddamn Shadow Realm was insane. Luke, you need to stay the fuck out of boxing. You need to stay the fuck out of BKFC. Hell, you need to, don't ever try to even go to dirty boxing. No. Go do grappling. Go do fucking UFC BJJ. Become a champion in there. The first guy to win a UFC title and a UFC BJJ title. You be the first guy to do it. Or go to that new promotion with Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, God rest his soul, started, called RAF, which is Real American Freestyle Wrestling. They got championships. Bo Nickel just won his. I think he should do that. Darren Till, 3-0 at Misfits. Holy fuck, bro. And then, they talked about he should go up against Jake Paul. I don't even think they're in the same weight class, so let's stop. Because this Till versus Rockhold fight was called a Bridgerweight title. First of all, I don't know what the fuck a Bridgerweight is. Misfits got all nothing but made up belts. It's basically boxing mixed with WWE. They're creating belts. Okay? They're not recognized in no motherfucking WBA, WBO, IBF, or WBC, or Ring Magazine. They're not recognized anywhere. You winning a Misfits title is not you winning a world title. It's just winning a championship that only Misfits operates. That's it. Get over it. Okay? But let's see what Darren Till moves up to. You know what I mean? Because he's making great money over there. I don't think he should ever go back to the UFC. This is perfect for him. But shout out to him. But that's all we got for Fight Talk. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the page. Like the page, you already know what it is. It's your boy Eddie Jax with the Drop That Podcast. We out this bitch. Peace.